What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to a Tuesday version edition and a 60-minute love letter to live, loyal, and local sports around this area. We call it the Ysn Power Hour, and it's brought to you by our friends at Toyota of Warren. Thanks to Tino and his team for continuously supporting what we do right here on the Ysn Power Hour. And there you see it up in the corner of your screen, boop, just like that, popping up. If you're in the mood, if you're in the market for a new vehicle, whether it be a brand spanking new Toyota Tundra like the one I'm driving around with a screen bigger than the one that's in my living room on the console, or whether you're looking for a 4Runner like my wife, whether you're looking for all these different vehicles, you know where to go. Support those who support you. And that is our friends over at Toyota of Warren, Tino, and everybody over there, from financing to giving you the space that you need to be able to pick out your car. And they make it a cinch. They make it so easy. So make sure you get over and help them out and support what they do, because they do it so incredibly well. It is a Tuesday edition of the Ysn Power Hour. DJ with you. So excited. It's been a great day. We've got such a great response to our first show here at Athletics. There was some mic issues I found out after the fact. So thanks for not pointing anything out and not poking fun at us yesterday as we continue to iron out those details one by one. But I think we got the microphone fixed. So hopefully I get a thumbs up from somebody that's let us know that the mic's fixed. We're good to go. But I'll tell you what, man, I'm not even exaggerating. We have received probably 80 messages, people stopping by the booth here, stopping by the new studios here, beautiful studios at Athletics, and they are enamored. Because number one, they love the fact that Athletics and YSN are now joint at the hip, which we love as well. But they also love the fact some of these folks haven't seen Athletics yet. And if you haven't seen this beautiful facility, the Taj Mahal of sports complexes not the region, in the state, in the country. I mean, you're going to see these. I'm going to put this out there. July 25th, 2023, there are going to be more Athletics popping up all over the country if the Wardles want it to happen. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. What's so great about this place is not just what you're walking into, the technology that you're walking into. Watching some of these athletes work out and just being a spectator for once, they're learning stuff every single time, every single drill. Not every single session, every single drill. They're learning something new about themselves through technology. Whether it be the Rapsodo, the hit tracks, being able to watch your own swing and analyze it through the Top Golf swing suites here. Being able to go over I think it's Dr. Dish in basketball. I mean, this is incredible technology that you're not getting anywhere else under one roof. So if you haven't been to Athletics, I highly recommend, no matter what the sport is, come in, give them a call. You can work out here. They've got an unbelievable, this gym, which I cannot wait to get into. I need to get back into it, by the way, but I can't wait to get into this gym because they've got technology in there that will make your gym experience better. It'll make it faster, and you'll be stronger and in better shape than ever before. So I'm excited to get started in there. Hopefully you guys stop and say hi to us here at these brand new digs that we have here at Athletics, and we're just going to continue to roll things out, brand new stuff, because that's what we're about. We're about taking risks and getting that reward for all of our fans, for YS Nation. So make sure you have that. Today, what are we going to talk about? Yesterday was kind of a thrown together show, a toss salad, if you will, of sports. And today, I think one of the things I want to talk about, we ran an interview 2 weeks ago now, I think, with Coach Spate from Columbiana, who came down to our studios and was on the warpath, right? And as are we, for what's right in high school sports. And he said something that we didn't really uncover. We really didn't dig into what Coach Spate was talking about, and it's kind of gone under the radar. And the biggest thing for me is nobody's talking about high school football. Now, I get it. We're still in the dog days of summer. We're going to hit some 90-degree temps here, according to Storm Tracker 21. But nobody locally, regionally, and certainly not nationally is talking about the high school playoffs for football. And I know I get it. We're in July. We don't need to talk about high school playoffs yet. But I want to talk about the reason or the pros and cons rather of the OHSAA deciding and taking the suggestion, apparently, according to Coach Spate, that high school coaches wanted games on Fridays. All the games. Because if you remember right, last year and for years prior, especially since COVID, COVID changed everything. So there's like a pre-COVID and a post-COVID world. I can't recall, but I think at least post-COVID, we've had high school football games changed to Fridays and Saturdays. And it might be a lot longer than that. And somebody can message in the Toyota of Warren inbox there how long, if that's been going on way longer than that. It probably has been. But this year, and they tried this before, according to some people on message boards, they're going to go every game is on Friday. Every single game is on Friday. And I haven't done my research enough. And you guys, you're going to have to help me out here. It's been a busy day. But I believe that changes when you get to the state level. So it makes me wonder, I wonder what if, let's try, right? It makes me wonder why all Fridays. And Coach Spate gave us a little bit of an indication that this is what coaches wanted to do. The coaches want to play football on Friday. They don't want to switch over, go 10 weeks on Fridays, and then all of a sudden you're playing on Saturdays. And then all of a sudden you play. I mean, when you're in the state championship, as we talked to Coach Pavlansky, we talked to Coach Yeagley, and we talked to other coaches that were in positions to win state championships. They don't care when they play a state championship. They'll play on the moon if they have to. And they'll play at midnight in a parking lot. But it makes me curious because it's one of those things with the OHSAA, you kind of have to make it like it's their idea. And it goes through this long sequence. Supposedly, I mean, from a business perspective, I would certainly imagine that the revenue coming in would be lower for the OHSAA. That's my guess. That's my guess is the revenue would be lower because it was great for people of smaller communities. Because if you had, let's say you had a D4 and a D5 that were next door to each other, neighboring schools, or D5 and D6, you could go to one game on a Friday and the other game on a Saturday, and you'd be happy as a clam. Now that option is off the table. That option is completely off the table. Now you've got to pick and choose where you go, except if you are subscribed to Ysn. Just saying, you could be everywhere at once. But in all reality, I think this is going to hurt numbers at stadiums. Now, I know that high schools don't care. We talked about that. They're not getting a cutback, or at least what they should be getting in the cutback. They're getting a solid, it's like $1,500, $1,700, something like that. It's nothing crazy. So they don't care who shows up and who doesn't. Ultimately, they want to win the game, naturally. But I think one of the pros and cons, if we're weighing things out right now, I'm going to check on comments here in a second. I think this is very much a con for the OHSAA, which makes me scratch my head and wonder why they agreed to this. Is this one of those Dwight Schrute, like, you're going to owe us a favor by the OHSAA for doing this for the coaches. I understand why coaches. I mean, athletes in general are just force of habit, right? So playing on Fridays at 7:00, they get used to that. They get accustomed to that. They train their bodies for that. All that stuff goes into it. So coaches are happy, which I'm grateful for. I appreciate when coaches are happy, but it makes me wonder how the fans, the people who go to the games, if they appreciate these games being on Fridays, or if there's going to be frustration because you can't, that time of the season, it is like a buffet of football for everybody, and especially around here. People can go to a game on Friday, a game on Saturday, and then come home. A lot of times, and you can watch, the Buckeyes or Michigan or whoever you're watching from your phone and get updates. And a lot of times they'll have updates from the PA box, right? Because let's be honest, a lot of them are watching that game as well. I've never been to a game that Ohio State's playing at a high school football game and somebody doesn't have it on their phone. I've never been there. It's never been an issue getting an Ohio State score or getting play-by-play from somebody in the press box. Never been a problem. But I know that this whole thing is interesting to me because there's people around there that saying this is completely due to the shortage of referees. Not true. Not true. Because if you think about it, if it was due to the shortage of referees and officials, they do more games on Saturday. Because you could split the officiating crews. Or I guess you don't have to split the officiating crews. You take the same officiating crews from Friday into Saturday. And then you're covered. I think this actually will expose what is happening and the officiating shortage that is happening all over the state and all over the country. But here more so than everywhere else, as the numbers indicate. I think this is a really interesting play by the OHSAA. I think this is a really, really interesting play because it kind of feels icky. I guess that's the best word for it. It feels a little icky. Feels like the back was scratched here, and they're waiting for theirs to get scratched as well. And I'm wondering when that favor is coming from Dwight Schrute, right? It's kind of like one of those eyebrow raising. Why are we doing this? Because I think the Ohio High School Coaches Association, I think they feel like they got away with one here. But if you have looked at the track record of the OHSAA, no, it's run like the mafia. You're not getting anything past them unless you give them some kind of resource or favor. The other shoe's going to drop. And it makes me wonder what it's going to look like. Because as we know, football is the most profitable and resourceful sport in the great state of Ohio. And it's that way across a lot of states in the country. And I've never seen a blazing trail that the OHSAA has led. So they're following somebody's script somewhere else. Unless all of a sudden they're going to be bold and brave, which, hey, to all those who turn over a new leaf, I tip my cap, but I don't see it. This is not, and they might actually, and I'm thinking through this in my head, so you have to bear with me. This might not be the hill that the OHSAA wants to die on. This might be one of those easy choices that they can say, okay, let's take this one because I'm not sure exactly what they're looking for, but it might be something bigger and a lot more profitable for them down the road. I don't know. This one's got me baffled. I want to know how you guys think about this. As Chris Ziegler chimes in and says, schools not wanting to host on Saturday would be a good guess as to why. Siggy, I hate to break it to you. I don't think they want to host on Friday either. And they sure as heck. I mean, some of these schools, South Range comes to mind, for instance. South Range would host a game on Friday, and then that they're playing in, and then Saturday they would host another game. That's not feasible anymore. And they were already having trouble finding host sites for these games. And I think this is going to increase that challenge tenfold. I really do. I really feel like this is going to put the OHSAA in the jackpot here, and not in a good way. And I think that this hasn't been thought completely through. I think we're going to have trouble finding games, or not games, but host sites for games, rather. Because there's not enough money being made by these host sites to even account for them. And you heard it from Coach Spate 2 weeks ago. Why would they do something and lose money on the deal? These teams, these programs are having a challenging enough time with fundraisers and battling to stay in the black that they're going to do favors for somebody who basically is the bully on the block. This is all very interesting to me. Very, very interesting to me. As Sam says, I am curious as to how that's going to work with the shared stadiums. I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that at all. So you think some of these shared stadiums around the area, and I don't know too many of them. I know, obviously, it used to be Youngstown State, where they were sharing the igloo, or I'm sorry, the ice castle. And now Moody plays, well, they played what, at Mineral Ridge? And Ursuline still plays at YSU. But what will you do? If you have a shared stadium, where do you go? What if you're double booked for that night? Is the OHSAA or somebody just going to say, oh, tough luck, you're just going to have to be the away team? No, sir, no way. No way. Because what are you going to do? A coin flip? Who has the better winning percentage? Who is, I mean, I don't know what you do at that point. Sticky says, shared stadiums would work the same as those who do not have lights and play on Saturday. They would just play on Saturday. See, I disagree. Because they're laying it out and it's all games are Friday. And they could change it. I mean, you could be absolutely right. They could change it and say, well, they don't have lights. Play on Friday afternoon. Actually, I like the idea of a doubleheader in football. I love it because there's nothing better to me that the state does. And yes, I'm about to give the OHSAA credit, but when you're going to those games and they're all in the same venue, they're all at Canton, right? Now they're all at Hall of Fame Stadium. Okay, cool. I'm going to go to one game, or I'm going to go there one time, and I'm going to stay there for the entire set of games. There is nothing better than watching championship caliber football in that setting. So if I was sharing stadiums, we would set it up and it'd be a doubleheader. One game is going to be at 3:00. The next game is going to be at 8:00. You can clear it out. And the OHSAA, you want your money? Fine. Clear out the stadium. The people are already there. They'll pay their $10 or whatever it is a ticket and get right back in. That, to me, is the smart way to do it. However, I think that shared stadiums, and somebody's going to have to help me out. Yeah, you look at Jeremy's chiming in here and he's trying to help me out. Thank you, Jeremy. Liberty, JFK, Valley Christian, all playing at Liberty. Whoa. Whoa. Imagine if Liberty, JFK, and Valley Christian all have home games, and it is viable. JFK is going to be good again. Valley Christian is going to be good again. Liberty should be good. Folks, these are problems that aren't being thought of right now. I don't like all football Fridays. I don't like it. Let's rephrase that. I've done a lot of that today. My mind's going a mile a minute. I don't like all football Fridays for the postseason. I like split days. I like Fridays and Saturdays. There's a lot of people. We have Archbishop Hoban. There's a lot of people that are going to be chasing Hoban this year. They've got a great schedule. And I'm telling you what, potentially you're talking about a D1 state champion in football. I'm telling you, you're going to want to watch them. And you can't do it throughout the playoffs if you're following the team that you're used to. The coolest thing that we had last year is we had some of the guys go to the Hoban game the night before the championship. The night before South Range and Canfield had their championship games, respectively. That's actually what started the wheels on all of this with Hoban and YSN. And I'll tell you one thing. When you're talking about Archbishop Hoban, you're talking about the tradition. You're talking about people that want to see and try to pluck that culture, that DNA from what Hoban does and inject it into their own programs and cultures. It's really interesting. But you're not going to have that opportunity if you're chasing down your own team. To me, Football Fridays is a bad break for local football fans. To me, that's just what it is. And I can be proven wrong, and I can jump to the other side. I'm not afraid of climbing that fence and jumping right back over. But I need someone to tell me why it's a good thing. For the players, for the coaches, good. Everybody else, and I mean everybody else, it is I think it's a bad thing. I think it's a bad beat. Sam says, it's so hard for me to be okay with pulling kids out of class for an athletic contest. It's one of my problems with the travel that anybody, that already exists, excuse me. I don't have a problem with it. I don't. And shocker that Sam and I don't see eye to eye on something involving sports, but I don't have a problem with going. I mean, most of these kids, and let's face it, this college credit plus and some of these extra credit programs that get you ready for college and for universities, it's already taken these kids out of the classroom. They've done enough, and now they're earning credit for college. So most of these kids, we're talking about kids that probably aren't in class anyway. They're either working a job or sitting in a room getting ready for practice, right? Just relaxing. I've seen it with programs before, and I'm sure it still happens. Some of these kids aren't even in school. I've heard and I've witnessed kids that have met all their criteria going into their senior year. So all they have to do is take college classes. And they're just doing it so they have a senior year. They don't want to graduate early. It's an interesting point, Sam. It really is that you don't like pulling kids out. But for one day, I'm okay with it because we all have gone on field trips. We all have gone on different things. I mean, they've pulled kids out of class to go to a Guardians game, to go to Pirates games, to go to, to the art exhibit. This is something that does benefit your school. It benefits you directly because it's your classmate on that field or it's you on that field or it's the I think it'd be great because hey, guess what? Teachers, here's your option. You can either go to the game or you have to be in your classroom and sit by yourself and work. To me, that's a no-brainer. I'm going to the game. I'm supporting my students. I'm supporting the people that I'm trying to educate and change their lives. To some, maybe not. Maybe some people want some peace and quiet. We all know that work can be one of the only places that you get some P and Q around these parts when you're a parent. I'm interested. I'm very interested. I don't necessarily agree with the Friday football. Oh, Amo's back. Amo, congratulations, by the way, to Aaron, our buddy Amo, for his hole-in-one not too long ago. Congratulations, buddy. We're proud of you, and we're all jealous. Hope you had. I really do hope you had to buy the round because that's courtesy, as I found out in golf. Not that I'll ever have to buy the round for a hole-in-one. We all know that. Amo says, "Don't tell me they can't compete with Ohio State." I know. Sue Hard. What? I know how hard OSU fans that would go to high school and watch OSU on the phone, myself included. I agree with you. I agree with you. And somebody pitched that idea to me that colleges have a hard time with high schools playing on Saturdays. I don't buy it. I don't buy it one bit. Ohio State's not worried about your money. Trust me. They get enough of it. These Power 5 programs, these colleges, they're fine. They're going to be okay if you're not watching, prime television on a Saturday night. Because let's face it, it's the same boat we're in. If you were going to the game, you're going to the game. I mean, or you'll sell your tickets because your kid's in a playoff game. I've never heard of that, though. I really haven't, and I'm sure it happens, but I've never seen it with my own two eyes that someone is really hamstrung because their kid's playing on a Saturday night and they'd rather go to the Ohio State game. A lot of times you just sell the tickets. Could be me. All right. Sigler, you're chiming in again. He says, I wonder who also did the OHSA have difficulty finding neutral sites on Fridays and then have Saturdays too, trying to limit and to one night? Remember, Berkshire hosted a game for some reason. Yeah, I mean, and it's nothing against Berkshire. That had nothing to do with them. Had everything to do with it was the coldest game day ever. Did not think I was going to make it off the top of that press box. But Singular, you make a good point. I mean, they had a brand new field. They wanted to show it off. I'm not sure they'll ever get another playoff game again unless they're in one. But yeah, I mean, some of these schools, I think, just want the game to want that because I believe you can charge for parking. And that might be some of the ways that you can make it up, but you got to have enough parking to sell those tickets. And I think there's some caveats to that where I believe you have to sell parking the entire year to sell it in the postseason, if I'm not mistaken. So you can't just all of a sudden charge for parking and make a mint off the gate. But again, who's checking, right? And I'm not trying to be that guy, but I don't know that the OHSA can prove otherwise at any part of that season because we've seen it, we've talked about it, we've discussed it. The OHSAA is not involved at all until week 11. I mean, they could care less what you do until you come to their birthday party, as my good buddy Andy Hake says. They could care less. And then all those finances, all those resources, just printing money. Just printing money, which doesn't go back to the schools, doesn't go back. I mean, we can go on and on about that. This is not to sit here and be like Katniss Everdeen and shoot arrows at the OHSAA. I am generally curious as to how you feel. So how about we do this? Let's try this when we take a break. There's a bunch of people watching right now. I want to know from all of you, would you want to see football continue to be played on Fridays and Saturdays in the postseason? Or do you like all Fridays? Put it in the comments. We'll address them when we come back on the YSN Power Hour, brought to you by our friends at Toyota of Warren. This 2.5-minute break, and then we'll talk more about the Friday versus Friday and Saturday ordeal for football playoffs when we return.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
Hi, this is Zell Bush.
Hi, this is Tom Flynn.
Hi, this is Steve Rossetto.
Hi, this is Ryan Miller.
Hi, this is Rich Sakui from WRS Wealth Advisors.
With our combined 80 years of experience, WRS Wealth Advisors are the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists.
Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services.
Or visit WRSwealth.com.
Go Raiders.
Go Dogs.
Go Cats.
Go Dogs. Go Tigers.
Jimmy Sudman here, Director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
Reliability, innovation, scale. These three values are those we look forward to in our business and in our team. If you're ready for a reliable employer who looks constantly to think outside the box in big ways, we're ready for you. Apply now. Help us push the envelope and deliver success. Envelope 1. Take that one extra step.
Winter, spring, summer, and fall. Mill Creek Metro Parks is your park for all seasons. Make a memory in the park. Plan your visit today at millcreekmetroparks.org.
Hey, welcome back to the YSN Power Hour presented by our friends at Toyota of Warren. DJ with you. And before the break, I asked you, do you want to see these games continue on Friday and Saturday for football in the playoffs? Or do you like what has occurred, at least for this year, and everything going to Fridays? So I asked you to drop a comment in the box, and we've got some. Jeremy says, I like Fridays and Saturdays. Now, that's coming from a guy who not only loves football, but officiates football at a very high level. So Jeremy likes the Fridays and Saturdays. I'm assuming he likes to be able to go and not just watch the games, but the option to partake in the games as well and be an official. Let's check what Sammy has to say. The OHSAA gets to have a party at your house on your dime and tells you what you can charge for it. It's insanity. It's insanity. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. And then we've got a new commenter, Smesko. Andrea Smesko says, I don't care. However, the kids like to go support and watch after other schools that when they aren't playing that night. Wouldn't the OHSAA make more money if they played both Friday and Saturday? Yes, that's the answer. Absolutely. They said the coaches wanted it on Friday. You're right. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's kind of where I'm at a loss for words. The coaches wanted it because I think, again, Coach Spate, and this is, you can go back and watch the episode. And as a matter of fact, we should probably cut that up. he went and he said that, when they were talking about the playoff system, the OHSA said 16 teams, 16 teams, 16 teams, and the coaches said 12. And they thought they got it. He said, in verbatim, he said they were high-fiving each other in the room, and the OHSA comes back and said, hey, we're going to go 16. Now, we all know why that happened. We all understand that. It's basic economics. The more teams, the more money. However, why is the OHSA, and we've never seen this happen, very rarely, if ever, has the OHSAA gone against the grain. I should say, very rarely has the OHSAA gone against the green of making a good decision, a decision that benefits them. To my knowledge, if someone can piece this together, because I'm missing it, I'm looking at this thing every which way. What am I missing? That Friday nights is a winner. And to my knowledge and in the research that I've done coming on into today's show, they've done this before and they quickly change back. Is this just going to be a toe in the water? Is this just going to be another opportunity that they think that, hey, this is going to work? Because friends, I'm telling you, I see far many more cons than pros for the OHSAA in this. I think this is going to expose the officiating shortage that we have in the state of Ohio and around this country. I really do. I really do. Because as the season rolls on, as you get to the colder weeks of, and we had a mild winter last year, even going into it, we had that very, very cold, what is it, week 13 or 14, right? And then it kind of was bearable again. But historically speaking, as you go, weeks 12, 13, 14, 15, teams are eliminated each and every round, as that's the tournament, that's the party. The interest from officiating goes down. It does. And and Jeremy might be able to help me out as to why that is, because I don't want to make any just throw the spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. But the interest in those games goes down for officials, maybe because they've had enough, because they've had enough of the parents, they've had enough of the kids, the back talk, all that is, the coaches, whatever it may be. But I really think we're going to be exposed as this thing goes on this year. And how sad is that going to be? And how much effect is that going to play into a tournament run? If all of a sudden you're ready to play on a Friday and you don't have officials. I mean, where's the frustration lie on that? Because they're still going to do online ticket sales for the playoffs. Remember, this is only October 4th or whatever it is through week 10. And then we're going with you're allowed to use cash. And then it goes back to everything is going to be run through the OHSAA and the way they do business. I'm really interested to hear your takes on this. I really, really am. Gary Russell chiming in. He says, I don't like the switch to all Friday games at all. As a Canfield fan, I love the fact that I could go to Canfield games on a Friday night and then pick a game on Saturday to go to watch. I will miss that. Jeremy says, and I think he's trying to help me out here, says, unfortunately, a call will have to have a direct impact on the outcome of a game this year during the playoffs. Play versus working conditions, or pay versus working conditions, excuse me. As you can see, I don't have my glasses, so that's a problem. I can't find them. My Blue Winks, if you're out there, I can't find them. Need another pair. I can just order them, I guess. Quit being lazy. Amo says, does the OHSA have enough refs to only do Friday night? That's what I'm saying. So it's starting to click. People are starting to understand where I'm trying to get to. picking up what I'm throwing down. I thought that was why they did Friday and Saturday last year, like throughout the year. Am I wrong? No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely 100% correct. They've done that for a while now because people do. Like Gary, they like going to game on Friday, a game on Saturday. They like supporting the local student athletes. They like being able to do that. And I'm not saying the OHSA doesn't care about that. I'm trying to figure out why this decision was made with the timeliness that it was made in. Number one, it feels rushed to me. Number two, it doesn't make sense financially. Number three, it's going to expose the problems that we're facing right now immediately. And maybe that's it. Maybe they're trying to force the hands of the officiating crews. Maybe they're trying to force the hands of people that are bashing officials. And now you can, you cannot play. Maybe this is their way. I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to figure it out with all of you. Jeremy says, guys who normally wouldn't be officiating a playoff game will be out there. Oh. And I think with that comment, everybody in their mind just zip back to a time where some of these officials, God bless them, listen, I'm here for you, right? Wouldn't do it, couldn't do it, won't do it. But there's some officials that don't need to be out there. There's some officials that don't need to be in that position to call a game that is, like Jeremy said, it could come down to one play, and then there's an offensive pass interference that was non-existent, or a defensive pass interference that was non-existent. That changes the entire, we can go into Marvel Universe if you want. It changes the entire timeline for a team, for a player, you could go down. This is some Marvel Universe stuff that we can go down this rabbit hole. Is that what you want out there? If the game's played, I don't care. I don't want to, and every official that I've ever known will tell me the same thing off the record because they don't like going on. They know officials that have cost teams their entire season. Imagine a team goes 10-0, blazes past it, then you're in a 16 versus 1 matchup, and there's one call. And every coach, I can hear coaches talking to me right now. Game never comes down to one call. It's the result of many. Okay, but what if it did? And the call was wrong. That could happen if you don't have enough solid officials. Amo the ref? That would be funny. It gives more schools an opportunity to host. I'm assuming you're talking about Friday and Saturday. I think. The problem, Andrea, is schools don't want to host. We've come to the portion of this relationship with the OHSAA, who is throwing the party, and let me find this. This was a perfectly put quote from Sam Torres for school board, by the way. The OHSAA gets to have a party at your house on your dime and tells you what you can charge for it. It's insanity. It is insanity. He's not wrong. That is spot on. It's crazy to me. And at some point, somebody's going to stand up. I know it. One school is going to stand up, or one region is going to stand up, as we talked about with Coach Spate. And then the trend is bucked. I don't understand this move. I don't get it. I've looked at it up and down and sideways. I can't figure this one out, folks. I'm hoping that you can help me out. I'm really hoping that there's somebody out there that can see this and go, oh, that's why. That's why. That's the understanding. But I'm starting to get the feeling like you guys don't see it either. I'm starting to get the feeling that there might be a person or two in Columbus going, hey, Larry, hey, Larry, did we think this went through? Larry's nowhere to be found, by the way. Larry's gone. He's checked out. I don't get it. And I would love to have Tim Street on and talk, and maybe I'll invite him on and see if he can put the dots together on this one, because I'm not seeing it, folks. And it feels like, you guys aren't seeing it much either. Amo says, we could do a live cam from the ref's eyes. Oh, here it goes. Amo, ladies and gentlemen, monetizing. Always think of YSN first. That is a team player. That is a company guy, ladies and gentlemen. What a guy. Oh, do you see? And now the wheels are spinning. Now we're out of control. We are off the rails because now Jeremy says he's going to do it. Next thing you know, Fred Moots is going to be texting me, telling me that he wants a ref cam. This is where we're at now. Well done, Amo. Way to put my butt in the hopper. In all seriousness, this is intriguing to say the least to me. This is incredibly intriguing. And I don't know. I'm trying to find the path that they see that they're going to benefit. And if it's just that they appease the coaches after they pissed them off, that's a good enough one for me, I guess. Sigler says, could this year be the test to see how many neutral sites will be available on Fridays? If there's a problem starting next year, do they allow the schools to host their own games all the way to the state semis if turf is everywhere? Now the turf is everywhere. I'm looking at that. I see your point of view. I feel like I'm talking to my wife. I see your point of view. I appreciate you. See, can you maybe, or somebody out there, can you tell me one time that we saw the OHSAA play the long game for this, and the one time that we saw beta tests be put into place without a support staff of, if this doesn't work, we're going back? Because to me, there's not a whole lot of supplemental data to back up anything that they're playing the long game. I mean, it could be out there. I don't know. I don't see them playing that very much. Right? They usually, I mean, as guys like me that are rough at golf, let's use a golf analogy here. As I'm laying up, they're going for the green off the tee. I don't see them playing this long game and saying, let's just see what happens. Because they do not like when there's back talk. They do not like when someone pees in their Cheerios. Gary Russell says, maybe they're giving in on this issue that some coaches seem to want it in hopes that it will calm the 16. I see where you're going. It'll calm the 16-team playoff and season too long complaints. Gary, my brother from another mother, I'm telling you, we're on the same page right now. I think that's what they're up to. I think that was their concession. Every single year, whether they win state or not, the parents, the coaches, the student athletes complain. 16 games and potentially, 5 scrimmages? So you add that up, you got 21 contests that these student athletes are competing in. Let's put that into context. Let's put that into real world apples to apples. The NFL playoffs, now at 17 weeks, 3 preseason games, which the majority of the players that that play during the regular season do not play over a quarter-ish of snaps during those preseasons. So we can mold that however we want. You can build that house on whatever foundation you choose. But you're telling me that someone who is paid, I believe the minimum in the NFL now is somewhere in the neighborhood of $300,000, should be comparable to the workload that a 13-year-old, soon to be 14-year-old, who's making no money because the NIL was, they should be playing the same amount of games. If you win the Super Bowl, essentially you've played around 20-21 games. If you win the state title in the great state of Ohio, you would have competed in 20 or 21 contests. It's a little crazy. It's interesting. So, Gary, I think you're onto something. People are saying, why are we doing this to my kid? Why are and then all of a sudden last year, by the way, let's pull the curtain back on when you can start playing football. Right? You can start doing these team drills. You can start doing all this stuff. It was either too late or too soon. They never found that medium. They never found that happy medium to sit in and just kind of kick back and enjoy. It was like, okay, you want more time? We'll give you more time. Now you're gonna hate us for that. Yep. Because some of these kids are being told, and this is a real talk. This is something we need to talk about more, and we will on a future show. Coaches in middle school, and certainly, I should say, let's start in high school, but certainly in middle school, should not be telling kids that they have to cut their summer short of playing another sport, whether it's baseball or anything else, so they can come and exercise at football practice. And they should not be holding that over their head and saying, if you don't come, you're not making the team. Don't bother. Bull crap. In the world that we're living in, where we need every kid to play every single sport, we can't be pulling that card. Cannot be doing that. You're just hurting yourself. Cannot be doing that. That is a number one, needs to be chopped right now. That's my high horse, and I'm riding it. You cannot be cutting kids because you're not letting them finish the season, because you make them make a choice. Because I'll be honest, as a parent, if you tell me that I've got to make a choice, that I've told my son or daughter that if they start something, they have to finish it, and you tell them that they can't start something unless they quit, that's a one-way ticket to another organization. That's just how it goes. And I know a lot of parents that feel the same way. You do not pull that. That is a bad precedent that you set. Because as sure as the sun will shine, you do not want that on the flip side. If you're a football coach and you do that in basketball and you're making a run and you're your star quarterback, but he's also the star point guard, and a coach comes in and says, yeah, I'm really happy for you, but you can't play basketball unless you come to our open gyms. That probably wouldn't sit well either. We have a birthday, ladies and gentlemen, to get to before we wrap things up today. And I want to wish a happy birthday. And we got to do the whole thing. So I made it. I made this. We paid for it. I got to run it. Get our money's worth. Here we go. Happy birthday to our very own Kristen Sigler. We are incredibly excited to have Kristen and Scotty and Radar all back for the YSN Audible Call coming up in just a few weeks. Hard to believe, right here at Athletics. Happy birthday, Kristen. We're so happy you're part of our team. We hope you enjoy your day and enjoy your family, and you get some birthday cake, because there's nothing better than birthday cake on your birthday, except ice cream cake any day. That is always a one-up. It's time for the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark, presented by Joe Dickey Electric. Anything commercial, residential, industrial, anything electrical, I need you to go over to DickeyElectric.com. Oh, I've got sparks. I've got sparks for days. One of them that happened right before the show, and I'm going to try not to get crazy emotional. We will bring up at another time. But I just lost my train of thought. So the spark that I'm calling out today is this weather, ladies and gents, that is happening T-minus 24 hours from now. Look out. Look out. Download the Storm Tracker 21 app today so you know you need to find somewhere with an air conditioner. If you want to be active, if you want, come down to Athletics, get your membership to the gym, start doing some, if you need to swing the club, get into the swing suites here. Get into the basketball, into the field house. You can run some sprints. You can run some routes in the AC. You can shoot some hoops, get on the Dr. Dish. I need you all to be careful. I need you all to be absolutely, absolutely careful. We do not need any stories like we've had in the past, and everybody knows the ones that I'm talking about, where we have heat exhaustion, heat stroke, and potentially losing student athletes. Coaches, athletic directors, organizers, please, 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 I'm begging you, please. It's not the end of the world. If you miss out on 2 or 3 days, let the kids go to a pool, right? Do some pool workouts, rent out the pool. There's enough people now that have pools. Bob Beam has a pool. The entire Springfield Tigers team, they can go over to Beamer's pool, get the pool workouts in. Rent out the pools. Stay cool, stay hydrated, stay safe. This is the kind of weather that ends people's lives or changes it drastically forever. I do not want any of you or anybody you know to become a statistic under that category. So please, 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 please be careful as these unbelievable temperatures approaching 100 degrees here in Northeast Ohio start to happen. Radar chiming in. He says, today's Tuesday Spark, I would have to do an interview with the OHSAA Commissioner, Tim Street. Well, he's not the commissioner, Radar. He's the director of communications. Commissioner is a whole nother person. The fall high school sports season is about to be upon us. Yes, it is. Some good news earlier today, as well as we end the show. Scotty Mincher will be here next Wednesday, right here at Athletics. And he'll return to his dominance of being part of the Power Hour. I know he's excited. Tomorrow, a very special show for you. That 15U team, or 16U team, I think, that went down to North Carolina is now on their way to Illinois. We will have Andrew Sabella, the manager, will join us with 2 of his players that are going to be taking part in that. We're excited to be able to host them right here on the YSN Power Hour. That's going to do it for our show. God bless all of you. Thanks for being patient. Thanks for being kind. And thanks for supporting YSN. We got some big news coming out. Stay tuned to all the social media. You might want to think about some things as we start promoting some stuff around the clock coverage coming up here on YSN. We'll see you tomorrow, 3 to 4, right here on your sports network. See ya. YSN thanks you for watching this presentation